Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third lesson in cycle 4, our application cycle. Today, we're going to do some trig applications. So, our learning goal today is to be able to apply your knowledge of trigonometry to word problems. So, let's get in here and I'll take you through some suggested steps on how to solve these problems. So, your first step is, if you're not given a diagram, is to draw and label a diagram. So I'm going to do a couple examples in this slideshow so that you can see how I draw some diagrams. Once you have the diagram, you're going to label it with everything that you know, all the numbers. And then knowing what you know, you're going to be able to choose the best equation to solve for the unknown or unknowns, depending on what you're looking for. Then when you're done that, once you have your equation, you're going to substitute the known value into the equation, and then you're going to calculate for the unknown value. So just a reminder to choose an equation between sine law and cosine law. Remember, if you need to use sine law, you can do that when you're working with two pairs of sides and angles. So you have one angle and the side across from it, and then another opposite side and angle. Okay, so before we were calling those pairs of sides and angles. For cosine law, you're going to use this when you have a side angle side in that order. So if you have an angle, a known angle sandwiched between two sides, you'll use the cosine law. And the other time you'll use the cosine law is when you have all three sides. Now, of course, in trigonometry, you can also use Pythagorean theorem and SOHCAHTOA, but remember, you can only use those for 90-degree triangles. Okay, so let's do a couple examples. So let's do this first one. We have two scuba divers. They're 20 meters apart below the surface of the water. Below the surface of the water doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to the problem. They both spot a shark that is below them. The angle of depression from diver 1 to the shark is 47, and the angle of depression from diver 2 to the shark is 40. So remember, angle of depression is from the horizontal measuring downward. And then our goal here is to find how far diver 1 is from the shark. So here's the diagram that I've created. So here's diver 1, here's diver 2, and then here's the shark. Diver 1 has an angle with the shark at 47 degrees. So see how I'm measuring from the horizontal down? I don't measure from a vertical over. Okay, so the angle of depression, you can imagine if I depress this line, it can go down to here by 47 degrees. The angle of depression for diver 2 from the horizontal to the shark is 40 degrees. And the distance between the two divers is 20 meters. So there's our diagram. Of course, I totally drew the shark by hand. No, I didn't. I copied it off the internet. That's the nice thing about computers, is you can't make fun of my drawing skills. Okay, so tool to solve. Well, the first thing we need to do is, we can't use either cosine law or sine law right now because we don't have three sides, we don't have two opposite pairs of sides and angles, and we don't have a side angle side that we know. So what we need to do first is find this angle at the shark. And you should remember that, all the angles of the triangle, all the inside angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. So that's a 180-degree rule. So to find the angle here at the shark, you're going to do 180 minus 47 minus 40, which gives us 93. But now that we have this angle, notice how we have two sets of angles inside. We have this angle and the side across, and then the side we need has the angle across known. So that means we can use the sine law. Okay, so I'm going to put my 93 degrees in here just so that it's labeled. If you do end up finding more information in this tool to solve part, you then add it to your diagram to make sure that your diagram is complete. So now we're going to set up our solution. So if we're going to put the sine law, remember, if you have a side, you're going to divide by the sine of the angle across from that side. And then you're going to set that equal to the ratio of the other pair you have. So you're going to have the side length divided by sine of the angle across from it. So this is our equation here. X divided by sine of 40 is equal to 20 divided by sine of 93. So to get x by itself, we're going to multiply by sine of 40. So we will have 20 times sine of 40 divided by sine of 93. And if you plug that into your calculator, you should get 12.9. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. I highly suggest pausing the video here, put this into your calculator, and check to make sure that you get the right number. And because this is a word problem, we are going to write a therefore statement. So therefore, diver 1 is 12.9 meters from the shark. An extension to this question might be to find the distance that the diver 2 is away from the shark. Which one is greater and by how much? So that would be an extension problem to that. Okay, example 2. We have a figure skating routine going on, and Jackie and Peter, at one point, they skate apart from each other with an angle of 15 degrees between them. Jackie skates for 5 meters and Peter skates for 7 meters. How far apart are the skaters at this point? So this diagram, I kind of made it simpler than the other. I didn't put any, pictures or letters or anything in it. But I started drawing the one. So Peter skates for 7 meters. So I kind of made it long and labeled it 7 meters. And then Jackie, I know, is going 5 meters, which is shorter than 7. So I have my arrow shorter. And 15 degrees, I just kind of estimated what that might look like. So I have those knowns labeled, and then I have my unknown because we are looking for the distance between where they ended up. So if we look at what we know, well, look, I have a side angle side. We have a sandwich, right? And don't forget, what goes well with a sandwich? Coleslaw. Ah. So because we have a side angle side, we can use the cosine law to find x. So our equation for cosine law is c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times cosine of c. Remember, you do not need to kind of rearrange this equation 1,000 times to find your letter that you're looking for. Just remember that the letter on the left, the side on the left is the one you don't know, and A and B are your other two sides. Big C is the angle across from the side that you are looking for. So in this case, I'm going to put, anytime I see an A, I'm going to put 7. And anytime I see a B, I put 5. So my equation becomes 7 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 7 times 5 times cosine of 15 degrees. I like doing each of these terms separately in the beginning. So 7 squared is 49, 5 squared is 25, and then if I multiply these all together, I get negative 67.6. Remember, there is a negative sign here, so be careful with that. And then my next step is to combine all of these to get one number. So that means c squared is equal to 6.4. And now to get c by itself, I need to take the square root of both sides to get my final answer. So C is 2.5. So therefore, the skaters are 2.5 meters apart. So those are the examples I'm going to do today. There is lots of great practice on day 8 of the Cycle 4 practice booklet. There are answers to those questions, so you can check to see if you're on the right track. Once you're feeling comfortable with that, you can go ahead and do the 4.3 quiz in Brightspace. As always, if you have any questions, please get a hold of me, and the best way to do that is to use the envelope icon in the top right corner of Brightspace. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.